Hello, summer session friends. Apparently, I forgot to hit record on our last session. So I'm going to go ahead and use Screencast-O-Matic to kind of give an overview of what we went over. So on Wednesday, our last session, we welcome, all that stuff. We recapped the session before, which you can see on a video in our Google Sites. We talked about in our shared summer session drive. I'm continuously adding new things that I find primarily on Facebook, but anything from articles to activities to different things. So please go ahead and check that out and see if you can find something that works for you. We are going to be walking through Google Sites and Google Forms, and then that's kind of what I'll be recording here today. So I'm going to go ahead and click out of this, and I'll go into our, let's see here. I'm going to go into our Google Forms and Sites presentation that you can find in our summer session sites. So we'll go to, we're talking about sites and sites over and over again, but there's a purpose for that. So this presentation you can find in your Google Summer Session site under Day 4. I will show you where that is in a minute. We are, as you can see on the screen, we're going to go ahead and go into why. Why am I so excited about Google Sites? It's free. That's always my first thing. To me, there's so many different things that you can put in there that you can just keep in there, and you can decide where you want to put it. The organizational system for this it's not an easy organizational because sometimes you have to play around with things, but you can do whatever you want with it, which I think I love that. You can put in videos, documents, images. I find that it's going to save me some time and sanity. Disclaimer, I have not yet used it with families and students. This is new to me, but the potential really seems to be there. And based on the problems that I had in the spring, I think this is a really good solution. Let's see what else. So we're going to go ahead and go on in. So first, I'm going to look at our Google site. So here is our Google site, and this is our home page. And as we walk across the top of it, we've got the welcome. We've looked at this every single session, so I'm not going to go through into all of them. But this is Day 1, Day 2, Day 3, Day 4. And in Day 4, when you click on that link, here's the sites. This is what we were just looking at a minute ago, and then that is where I will be adding this video as well. So it just shows you different things that we can do. So while we were in class, we went in and kind of made a fake site. So whenever I make something new, I personally like to put it in the drive folder I want it in. So I always click on my drive first. I decide where I'm going to put it. I think I'll just keep this with my summer group area. So find the folder you want. You're going to go into new, like anything you make, click into new. And then you're not going to find the option for sites right away. So you go into more, then you go over to the next drop down and scroll down, and then you're going to see Google Sites in there. So you click on that, and then I'm making sure that my microphone is on because I tend to turn it off and on. Okay, good. So I'm going to create and share, and then a new one's going to pop open. Now I will show you that if you go through your Google Apps, and I'm going to show you that super quick while that's waiting to load. If you go through your app dots over here, it's going to be over here in Sites, because that's what it's called. It doesn't look anything like what we're going to see, what you're used to. This is the old format, and so there's over on the left-hand side with the menus, the drop-down version is New Google Site. So that's where you would click to create the new version. So I'm actually going to get out of that one because I don't want that. So now it opened. This is the new site. And now you can start kind of playing a little bit. When I'm going to try to move this guy over a little bit if I can. Okay, there we go. When I start, I guess I kind of start with, maybe I'm going to start with my title. It's a good idea if you have a picture of what you want to put in here, but I will say that at any point you can make changes. Change anything you want. You can always change things. So let's say I'm going to call this, I am playing, and then let's see if it'll automatically, I can never remember. So here I'm going to put I don't know why they want a title so much, so in so many different places, that's going to populate. So this is like my home page. So then when I come over here, I can go, there's 3 main areas of work. So I have insert, pages, and themes. So I kind of am going to start off in themes all the way to the edge. And you kind of only, once you figure out what the themes are, you pick your theme and then you're done. So that's the nice part. Not a lot of options. You can always change the header and things like that in image. You can upload your own pictures, things like that. But as far as themes go, these are your choices. I personally tend to like Aristotle or Diplomat. I guess I like that box around there or something like that. And then you can play a little smidge bit with the font, and not a lot, which I know is not everybody's favorite. We love our fonts. And then you can also play around with the color scheme. You can add versions to it, but I really like that one, so I'm going to go with the blue. So once you create your theme, you're done in that section. You don't have to mess around in there anymore. Next, I would go to pages. This is where you're going to have those different areas that you go to. I have seen some people put everything on one page. The pages expand and they'll go as long as you want them to. I personally like to make separate pages, so that's what I'm going to do. So you can see over here, this on the right side, there's the list of your pages. Well, I only have one page right now. That's my home page. What I want to do is I want to add a page. So I'm going to come down in here, and I hope you can, let me move my little self. Coming over here, and this is where I'm going to add, I want a new page. I'm not doing a link right now, I want a page. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to call this page schedule. Oops. And I'll click done. And I'm going to put in some main pages. You have main pages and then you have sub pages, and we're going to do both, but I want to put in a couple main pages so that I can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to add resources. And then maybe I did schedule resource, maybe just like daily work. Okay, so now I have 3 main pages. So notice when I'm on the page tab in there, they just add to my list. You can move those in whatever order you want. Just kind of click on it, touch it, and then put it up. Oops, see, now I made a sub page. I don't want to do that. So I'll put it back down here. I'll tell you how you can tell the difference in a minute. But you can move them and put them in whatever order you want them to be in. And then they also populate up here. Now, there is a ton of different little formatting things you can do. You can play around with things. There's a settings toggle over here where you have some different choices of things to do. I'm not going to go into all that. This is just like an overview, but just know that once you get in there, there's a lot of different things you can do to play. So each one of those pages shows up on the top of my header, and when I click on the word, it's going to take me to that page. They're all blank right now because I don't have anything in there. Next, what I want to do is create some sub pages. So under my resources, I like to break that up a little bit. I like to have technology resources, maybe math resources, some different options depending on if you're using this for students or parents. I plan to have a separate site for my parents and a separate site for my students, and I'm going to show that in a little bit. So I want to create some more options under the resource tab. So when I need to move my little box over. I'm not sure if I'm thrilled with Screencast-O-Matic or not yet. But anyway, so I go to my resource. I can tell I'm on the right page because it's blue and these other guys are gray. And you can also see it here. That's the page that I'm up with. You go over to these 3 dots off to the side and you click on them. And you have lots of options. Honestly, I haven't played with all those options yet. I don't even know what properties does. So, that's an opportunity for you to play with if you would like. I'm going to add a subpage. Same similar format to page. You give it a name. So let's say I'm going to call this my tech resource. Oops. And then I'm going to maybe add another subpage that says math resources. So I go down, I click on those 3 dots. There's my drop down. I go to add subpage. And then I have math resources. So now I have just a generic, I've got some different pages and I have some subpages. You can tell that they're subpages because you can see they're lined up a little bit differently. You can see this little arrow which shows that there's a drop down in front of the word resources, and you can also see it here. So when you scroll over that word resources, you can pop on either the tech resource page or the math resource page. So they're just all linked really pretty. This is your working view. Whenever you want to see what would it look like if someone else was using it, you come up here to these top tools and you click on preview. And you can actually preview through, if you look on this little bar right here, you can be looking at what would it look like on a phone? What would it look like on an iPad or a tablet? What does it look like on a screen? So that's what this is all about. And when you're ready to get into your work view, you just click X and it puts you back in work view. So you can kind of see, what does it look like? Okay, that's not really different from my work view, so nothing's too crazy in there. All right, so we looked at what themes are. We made pages. Now we're going to go into insert and just play with some of the inserts. Again, sort of like the formatting settings, you have some different options. I have not played with all of them. And so I, play, go, have fun, do whatever is working for you, but we'll just do a few of them. So here's some main options: inserting text box, images, embedding a link, anything from your Google Drive. You can put different layouts for those images. And then there's all these guys here. You can insert a YouTube video, Google Calendar. And I'm going to go back to our site and I'm going to show you some of those, what they look like. I'm not going to put them all in right now. So let's say I want to insert a text box. I'm in math resources. Maybe I don't want to be there. I'm going to go to schedule and I'm going to insert. So you can hop, once you're in that insert mode, you can hop from page to page. So I'm going to go to schedule and I want to put in text box. I'm going to say here you can find your schedule of the day, schedules for the day. I don't know, whatever you want to put for the day. Now with that, you have some options. You can make it smaller, you can make it bigger by calling it a title. You can make it the heading. These kind of give you different size options: bold, typical, text, dealy whoppers. This section you can change the color to. There's not a lot of options again in some of this stuff, which I know is really hard for especially as people who really love their different fonts. There's not a lot of font options, but that's it's one good thing about that is that it gives you fewer things to spend your time on. All right, so let's say I'm going to put, this is where I'm going to put my calendar, and I've created a Google Calendar for my students. So this is all my Google calendars. This is their list. This happens to be the one for my my classroom, and I just click on it. You can decide what view. I'm a month view person, so I always change it to the month view. Let's see. I don't even want to play with this right now, but here, over here, month. There's a lot of different things you can do with it. Now,